Guys, so today I'm doing a video that's been highly requested and that's slightly difficult for me to do because I'm not good at picking favorites, and also I'm trying to keep this video short and it's gonna be difficult because I have so many things to say, it's so many feelings. So today I'm gonna tell you about some of my favorite books. Let's get started. So the first one is Lolita, written by Vladimir Nabokov. This very famous book is probably one of my favorite books because of the subject and because of the style as well. Nabokov writes amazingly well in my opinion, and I can't wait to start reading his autobiography, Speak Memory, or Memory Speak. And what I personally really appreciate and really like about this book is the subject. I wanted to study psychology when I was younger for many different reasons. One of them was that I was really interested in many things as well, but pedophilia was one of my main interests. And I think of it as a disease, and I think of it as a disease that really needs to be studied and understood much more. I really wanted to work with pedophiles. It's really impressive for me to read a book in which you feel like you want to sympathize and you want the main character with the pedophile to succeed and you want him to be happy, kind of, and you cannot help but feeling a sort of friendliness and compassion for him, and it's just weird and disturbing, and that's amazing because books can do that in a way that really few things in life can do. Okay, my favorite book, L'éducation sentimentale, written by Flaubert. So this book will have probably a whole video, well, maybe not this book, but Flaubert will have a whole video all for him because he's amazing. This book is not a love story, and it's not a coming of age story, and it's not a political book, and it's all of those things at the same time, even though it's not. That's how great it is. I guess it will resonate differently with everyone, but for me it was just so moving and hot, I don't know, it was just really overwhelming at times because first of all, Flaubert writes amazingly well, and he has this thing for when it comes to capturing and really catching the feelings and the moment in its acme, I don't know how you say that. I love this book so much, and I really suggest everyone reading it. It's not really easy, I will admit, to get into because it's a little bit long. The style is a bit old-fashioned for some people, I guess it could be, and more importantly, it deals with a lot of different layers and a lot of different stories, and it's a lot about what hasn't happened, what won't happen, what won't be said. So you have to read between the lines, and it's just amazing. I love it. So if you like French literature, or if you like literature in general, really, I recommend this book. It's amazing. This one is really special to my heart because it made me cry. Not many books actually make me cry, like really. And this made me cry in the underground. It's L'Amour Fou, written by André Breton, who is a very, 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 very famous surrealist writer. Probably one of the most famous because he was kind of the chief, and he wrote a manifesto. Surrealism is my favorite movement. André Breton, what could I say? You read a book written by André Breton, you don't only read a book. You live something, you experience something, you discover something. It's all about, looking at things differently and just kind of like, imagine if there were curtains in front of your eyes that you've never really realized were there, and suddenly someone opens them for you, like, takes some parts of the air and just opens the air in front of you, and you see things with a different shape and intensity and flavors and stuff like that, and it's just amazing. It's difficult sometimes to get into that. I mean, surrealism is not for everyone because it's not really fiction, and it's not really non-fiction, it's not really literature. Sometimes it feels like you're reading a manual for some sort of, anything that's not literature, but it is literature. They go from one subject to another. It's sometimes really confusing and confused, but it's all like life, life is confused and confusing, and surrealism has to be a sort of revolution. Want it to be a revolution. Love that book. If you couldn't tell, I love this book. Everything is linked, everything is connected, and you realize that when you read that book. Then, Aragon, Aurélien. So Aragon, what could I say? He was also sort of a surrealist. I mean, at the beginning of his life, because surrealism didn't like novels, and this one is a big novel. This book, I think, is probably considered by most as a love story. For me, it's not a love story. I mean, yes, it's a love story, but it's a human story, and it's all about time passing by and time just, being the most cruel and in the end the strongest part of our lives, because no one can fight time. No one can fight bad timing, and no one can fight either time that's happening or time that has happened or time that's weighing us down right now. And it's all about human beings that are very different, trying to live in Paris. So Paris is very important in that book, which makes it even more interesting in my opinion, because I love Paris, as you know. It's like a book made of human feelings and abundant fluids. So right, you know, those little words and those little sentences that seem to be really meaningless or very trivial, but in fact they make the book so real and so raw, and it hits precisely where it should hit. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I cannot really get into details as to why I love this book without sounding either super arrogant, super cheesy, or being too personal, because, okay, I don't want to draw any comparison between Sylvia Plath and me, because obviously there is none to be drawn, as we are all individuals and as she is a lot more talented than I will ever be in my whole life. But the thing is, I could feel her, I could relate to so many things. This book was so wow, you know, I was reading it and I was like, I don't want you to end, I never want you to, and I want to keep reading you forever. That's the kind of literature that I tend to really like nowadays. Actually, I think this book changed my life a little bit. Dracula, written by Bram Stoker. So I don't have much to say about that, apart from the fact that when I was younger, I was really into the Gothic subculture, and I'm still really interested in the Gothic subculture. It's not obvious when you see me because I've changed a little bit. I feel like that because of the music I listen to, the books I like, and the kind of aesthetics I like. So it's not a predominant part of my life anymore, but it used to be, and it's still something that feels really close to my heart. And this is the kind of book that I loved reading when I was younger. It's all that I love, you know, the Gothic, really kitsch and really delicate and exaggerated version of things. And I like that literature, like music, I like movies that are like that too. I just like the Gothic subculture, and that's obviously a big classic. So yeah, nothing to say, the story is famous. If you haven't read it, I think you should read it. If you want to, obviously you should never have to read something, but yeah, it's a good book. Yeah, it's a good book. Then Alcohol, written by Apollinaire. So I wanted to keep it with novels, but honestly, I could not put this book of poetry. This book is full of poems that really, wow. I had a full semester that focused on this guy and his poems, and it was amazing. I learned so much, and it was, every time I would go to the class I would be like so excited, and I would even be sad at the end because it was just amazing, and it's brilliant. I think it's not really easy to get into that without having someone to teach you about, you know, the meanings and the symbols and all the little things that makes it easy for you to understand. You cannot really understand everything fully because poetry, I don't think, is meant to be understood completely, but it's still better when you have some tools to help you and guide you. I have a video up reading some of his poetry if you want. I will link it here. Another book, but I don't have it here. I mean, I have it, but it's so big that I didn't want to put it in the video. It's Les Fleurs du Mal, written by Baudelaire, and Les Paradis Artificiels, anything by Baudelaire, really. I love Baudelaire. He's probably going to be the next person I make a video about. I could not include him in this video. For me, he is the greatest poet of all time. He was someone really interesting, and I mean, everyone is interesting, but Baudelaire really had something that echoed in my heart very strongly, so I love him. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope it was interesting. Please let me know what are your favorite books or some of your favorite books, and I will see you later. Bye!